Hey guys, I'm James. Welcome back to the channel.
Let me catch you up to speed.
I've owned this Supra for over 10 years. And when I first got it, I was so motivated to turn this car into my dream car that I drove it just once. Just once.
Before stripping it down and sending it off for paint. But then life happened and the Supra sat untouched. Over those years,
I gave away parts. Some for nothing, some for next to it.
And now, well, I'm missing a lot of what I need to finish the build.
So I made the smart move, in the name of financial responsibility of course, and hunted down a whole car I could use for spare parts.
But after having a look at the car I'd newly purchased,
What? That looks like a new gearbox.
and a few spirited drives,
I don't think I'll ever get used to that.
I realised it was too good to tear apart. So I kept moving forward, ripping out the suspension from the original car, hoping I could rebuild it while figuring out the missing parts. And we made progress, stripping the suspension, painting and blasting components. And that's when I was hit with another problem.
To do this job properly, every nut and bolt needs to be electroplated. And waiting 3 weeks just isn't an option. So I've got no choice but to take a risk and do it myself.
If I mess this up, I'll be stuck without hardware, and finding original replacements nearly impossible.
In this video, we've got a lot to tackle. Replacing bushes, restoring plastics, and of course, the big one, electroplating.
Oh my.
And if that doesn't go well, none of it's going back together. And if I want to get this build back on track, everything needs to be finished in this video. So buckle up, it's gonna be a ride, let's get into it.
So where to start? Well, I figured since we need the hardware electroplated, and that's what made me the most nervous, we start there.
Is to degrease all the hardware. So we're just shoving all the hardware into these buckets with warm water and degreaser, and we're gonna clean them all up with brushes on the way out. No gloves.
No gloves.
From the old school Dave.
After rinsing, we gave each piece a dip in a 10% hydrochloric acid mix, hit them with a wire wheel and assembled them onto rigs. One more acid dip, a soak in the kit's special degreaser, and just like that, they were finally ready for plating. Now before I show you the results, I want to give you a 30-second rundown of how this all works. Essentially, electroplating is a way to coat a metal object, like the bolts we're working on, with a thin layer of another metal, in this case, zinc. We use an electrical current to move metal ions from the anode, which is made of the plating material, to the cathode, the part we want to plate. The electricity causes the metal ions to dissolve from the anode into the solution, called the electrolyte. And then those ions bond to the surface of the cathode, creating a new metal layer. This process not only improves the appearance of the part, but also helps protect it from corrosion and wear. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's see how we went.
Oh wow, look at that.
Now I'd love to tell you that everything turned out like this, but unfortunately that's not the case. Some parts like these hubs didn't coat properly, and I had to do them multiple times, not realizing you had to double the amps for cast iron. And then I might have got a little bit too excited and tried to electroplate alloy. That didn't go very well. But for the most part, everything turned out fine. And the things that I didn't get right first time, I went back, I prepped them again, and then I gave it a second shot.
As it turns out, when you're given no other choice but to fix your mistakes really quick, you get pretty good at electroplating. Next time, I might even try anodizing aluminium. But on a serious note, if you want to see the whole process, there's a link in the description. I've had a few viewers ask for more detail, so I've also made a conscious effort to put more detail into this video. Let me know what you think.
While I was busy sharpening my electroplating skills, Jimmy jumped in front of the camera to work on his on-screen skills. And you know what? For a first shot, I think he did a great job.
So today we're going to be putting together the hub assembly. So we've got the hub, got the sealed bearing, circlip, backing plate, dust seal, hub spacer, nut, and then nut cap. So let's put it all together. First things first, we're going to get the bearing into the hub. Find the right size cones to press them in with. Right, so now that we've got the bearing in, I'm going to go ahead and put on the circlip. Snapped in, very nice. Now we're going to put on the backing plate. Next is the dust seal. Just give it a tap in, work your way around. It's all nice and flat. Then we're going to press in the hub. All the way home. It's starting to look like a hub assembly. And next we've got the spacer. Now nice and snug. Which holds it all together. Now we're just going to bend in the tang. That'll do, stop the nut from coming undone. Get the dust cap, keep it nice and clean in there. And that's it. That's a fully assembled hub.
Well done.
Okay, sorry about all the background noise, but in this part of the build, we're going to be prepping underneath the Supra to get it ready for the suspension to go back in. So one of the first things I want to do is actually give this cable tray a little bit of attention. You can see here it's pretty dull, and I want to bring it back to life. You've got to be careful with this stuff as well because you don't want to break it. There's one of them. You can see it's pretty average looking. We'll clean that up though. And the other one. Oh. After about 20 years, your fingers become like screwdrivers. Only kidding. You get some calluses though, and they're pretty tough. Let's go fix these up.
All right, so I'm gonna start by removing all the dirt.
And you can see it's just a build up over time. So the way we're gonna do that, with this machine, which is just a steamer.
So first we're gonna start off with a bit of soap to loosen the 30 years of grime that's embedded into these plastics. Then we're gonna hit it with the brush head on the steamer. This brush head will get into those tight areas and help us get a really nice result. While the steam will stop the plastic from being so brittle and help us get it ready for the last step, which is to hit it with a heat gun. So satisfying. Check it out, before and after.
I'm not going to bore you with the next one, I'm just going to do it and you'll see it when it's done.
Okay, let's get on to some exciting stuff.
All right, now that all the bolts are electroplated and they look all nice and pretty, we're good to start putting the suspension back together. And the best place to start is by putting some bushes into arms. So I've got this big old bushy box here. I mean, big old box of bushes. And we're gonna start with these. So before we put it all back together, I just want to show you a few of the different types of bushes that we're going to put in these arms. Now, I'll start with the original bush, and you can see here that this was a straight press in and press out. The next set we've got here is it's a 3-piece bush. This 3-piece bush is really nice and easy to put in the arm. And all you need to do is lube up the bush and put a side in each side. Lube the shaft, and then just slot it in the hole. And there you go, as easy as that. The bush is in and we're ready for the next one.
Since we had a bunch of arms to work on, Jimmy jumped in to help me get through it. I went with this style of bush for 3 main reasons. The first, these high-grade polyurethane bushes last way longer than rubber and hold alignment better over time, which means better control on the road. Secondly, the split design helps keep vibrations down. This polyurethane is solid enough to keep everything in place, but flexible enough to absorb the road's impact, unlike rubber, which tends to break down over time. And finally, with the split bush design, each piece can flex on its own, absorbing the movement from the control arm and stopping vibrations from building up. Now that all the bushes are in the arm, the only thing left to do is put these sleeves in that I couldn't do by hand. Then we're on to the next bush.
All right, I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick with bushes. Now, this particular bush, you can see it's got to be pressed in one piece. So they can become pretty temperamental and they can pop off. What I'll do is I'll actually just quickly show you that. So you'll see, as I'm trying to push this bush down, it's actually just going to try and pop out this way, that way, or whatever way it wants. And you can see it's already doing that right there. And I could try and control it like I did with the last one, but because of the size and shape of this bush, it's not going to work well. Get a sleeve that's about the size of the bush, just bigger. Push this in the sleeve. Because this shaft here is going to guide the bush down into the arm, I should be able to just press that down. Oh, and peel it. Already trying to pop out the back there. I think I just recovered that. Yeah, Jimmy!
Winner, winner, chicken for dinner. Oh, I thought you pulled the bush out for a second.
Woo! Look at that, baby! And then we can chuck the sleeve in. Oh. Hear that? Nothing. That's wonderful. I don't know if you can see that, but it's 2:15 in the morning. And the only thing keeping me going is, well, 7-Eleven's freshly ground coffee because Macca's wasn't open. And the fact that I really, really want to get this car rolling again and put this suspension back in. I'm really excited about putting all the parts together now, so yeah. He works hard for the money, so hard for the money.
Looks like the coffee kicked in, and hopefully I don't get copyrighted for that.
So we've got all the parts ready to go back together, laid out on our newly made bench, and I think we're ready to go.
So I'm going to start with the front subframe, which involves connecting the rear half of the subframe to the front half. So firstly, I need to put the connecting arms on, bolt them into place, and then put these plates on, if I can work out which way's up and which way's down. Then I'm going to attach it all together loosely.
Fingers aren't working so good at 2:30 a.m. Oh my God. With Toyotas, you can see here on the arm, this one says L.
It's nice when the engineers think about the people who have to work on the car.
Wipe the paint. I'm so pedantic.
When you think about it, after restoring every single little part of the suspension, who wouldn't want to be pedantic about it? It's looking pretty damn good, and I want to keep it that way, for as long as I can anyway. I installed the other lower control arm, which also gave me a little bit of difficulty, but nothing a big rubber mallet can't solve. Installed the caster adjustable bolts, turned the whole lot around to make my job easier, installed both left and right control arms, put this little bracket on at the front, put both hub assemblies in, and then we're done. Check it out.
So good. I'm gonna put the power steering rack on and then go get me some breakfast.
How good does that look? Seeing all my hard work come together like this is incredibly motivating. Each part that I've painstakingly restored piece by piece is finally coming together, and it is definitely the most rewarding part of building a project car, in my opinion. I'm sure a lot of you with project cars know that feeling, when all those late nights and small wins finally start to add up. On the subject of individual parts,
I couldn't find this bit before. It actually goes right here. This is gonna stick out like a sore thumb. I am not setting up the electroplating tanks for one part. How would they know? Who's gonna know? How would they know?
getting all of this done gave me a second wind. Knowing this was the last time I'd ever have to tackle this job on this car, I dove straight into prepping the underbody. I cleared out years of dirt buildup that had been there since the car was new, touched up some of those areas with a bit of paint, and gave the hard lines a thorough scrub with soapy water and a rag. Along the way, I spotted a few other parts that needed some loving, so I cleaned those up too. Then Jimmy gave me a hand to give him a lick of paint. Then, of course, I found another issue.
I remembered something that I had to fix. Come check this out. Now, this is definitely not factory Toyota, so we're gonna have to remove that. But that looks like shit. And I also found this. That's not factory Toyota either. Let's fix this up.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Oh, bless you. I don't even know what's there.
Honestly, who does this guy in the background think he is? It looks like I'm halfway between fixing a car and trying out for a dance routine.
Oh, like a new one, Jim. Yeah. Don't feel me crack, will you?
Too late, mate.
I was such a mix of tired and excited about getting the front suspension back into the Supra that I didn't even notice our mic receiver was flat while Dave was trying to introduce himself. So once we get this suspension wiggled into place and bolted up, we'll give it another go. And I told Dave to throw in something extra to get Jimmy going. It should be a good laugh as Jimmy's always got a quick comeback ready. And for Dave's first time on camera, I might have unknowingly put too much pressure on him. Sorry to throw you in the deep end, Dave.
Fuck, what did I say? Alright, it's constant recording, you need to stop, do you?
That's fine.
Okay. Hello, I'm Dave. Today I'll be helping out with the Mk4 Supra. I usually carry the workshop on my shoulders, but today they need me here, so what can I do? Let's get into it.
Do you want to do it again?
I think that's alright. What do you reckon, boys? Or do you want me to do it again?
Go again. Go one more time.
Joke like you tell them a joke.
Yeah.
Serious?
Just slow down. Just slow down. That's fine.
Okay, fuck me. I'm so nervous, man. Hi, I'm Dave. Today I'll be helping out finish the Mk4 Supra. Usually I'm next door carrying the workshop on my shoulders, but today I'll be here assisting the boys and hopefully we get it all smashed together. Yeah, hope you enjoy the video.
Props to Dave, he nailed his first go on camera. Now let's see what Jimmy has to say.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Jimmy and I actually hold the workshop down next door. And today I'm going to be helping finish off the suspension on the Supra.
Easy. Much easier. Jimmy knows Reddy's been in front of camera last month. That was really good. He's an actor.
Thanks, mate. Oh, yeah, because you know the whole time you were speaking, I'm going over it in my head.
Okay, so now that we've got everything else done, it's onto the rear subframe. I've got everything set out. Underneath here, I've got all the control arms and the bushing and any other part of the subframe that needs to be bolted together. And on the right and the left, I've got both the hub assemblies. Now, I just wanted to say a couple of things quickly. This resto, as far as restos go, is pretty cost effective because we've saved ourselves a few bucks here. Now, as you've seen in an earlier video, these control arms were $2,000 each, which is quite ridiculous, but if you want to buy an OEM product, especially for a car like this, it's going to be very expensive. Now, we got lucky because the ball joints don't need to be replaced, and if you know much about the Supra control arms, you can't actually replace the ball joints in these arms. So we were able to strip the bushing out, and then we sandblasted the arm, and like
Before and after, look at that.
you know, I don't know about you, but to me that looks like brand new. A lot of this is labor. And to do a job nicely and properly like this, a lot of the time, you know, a lot of the job is labor and you can save a lot of money. Like the subframe up here. The subframe, obviously after we pulled it out and we stripped it down, we've sanded it back. I did have my panel beater do this, but this is obviously something that we could do as well. But, you know, this has saved us a lot of money. If we had to buy a subframe, man, I don't know, like to buy one brand new, I don't know where you're gonna get it. To get one second hand, you might have to buy a half cut of a car or, yeah, you don't see many of them for sale. So sprucing it up in this way is a really, really good option. Obviously with all these arms, we're able to get them painted up and we're able to replace all the bushing in these as well. But overall, you know, this all looks nearly brand new and didn't really cost us that much. Oh, and obviously I'm forgetting all the hardware. Like if you had to buy the hardware brand new with all the different ratings on the bolts, you'd be up for an absolute fortune and it'd be really hard to find. So, you know, going down that route of electroplating, if we had to pay someone else, it would be more expensive, but still it's still a cost-effective way of doing it. You don't have to do it yourself. I just have never done it before and I just thought it'd be really cool to give it a go. Bit risky, but still really cool. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the diff bushes in. And as we established in the first video, it doesn't matter whether you have a GE or a GTE, you can still put both bushes on and that's going to strengthen up the back end. And you can see here that we're using neoprene, which doesn't have much give in it, and it's going to really tighten up this back end. And that's what all the other bushes are as well, they're neoprene bushes. If this was a Supra owned by my grandma, well, you know, I wouldn't be putting neoprene in because she needs to get to the shops and she probably doesn't want to feel all the bumps. But for us, we want it tight, we want it fast, and
neoprene is the way to go. So to do these rear diff bushes, I don't usually use instructions. I'm terrible in that way. A bit stubborn probably actually. But I'm gonna have a look at them. As you can see on the instructions, it just shows you where to put the bushes in. And that's pretty self-explanatory. You can see that this bush looks like that bush looks like this. And then over on the diff, we know that the differential, the way it's sitting now, is the same way it's gonna sit in the subframe. You got your 2 bolt holes here and your 1 there. Back over here, the next problem is lining them up straight. Now they don't have to be perfectly straight because once this style of bush is in, if you wanted to, you could actually just lever and move it around with a bit of difficulty, but you do want to try and get it as close to square as possible. So the way I'm going to do it today, it's not a perfect method, but it's what I quickly thought up before getting on camera. To get your ruler, and you sort of try and find a straight edge that looks like the center line, and then you can put your bush the way it sits, which is that way over here. And if you have a look through the bush, I don't know if you can see that, you can see the ruler is, you know, close to the center of those circles. So you want to line that up, and then once you've lined that up, I'll move the ruler away and I'm just going to mark it here on the subframe, and then a little mark on the top so I can guide it in. And then I'm going to lube it up and I'm going to give it a hit in with the hammer. Bit of grease. Yeah. I did read the instructions and they said you can just put it straight in.
Led you astray.
They led me astray. Whoa!
Oh.
I mean, if I had a bit of steel on each side and then I worked a bolt in, that would actually work probably better too.
You might have to set something like that up.
Yeah. I might try this again, because if I can get it in, happy
Save us
days.
some time, yeah.
But if I can't get it in like that, that's what I'm going to do. Because this just doesn't feel like it's going to go in the way they said it's going to go in. No. I'm going to set it up my way. And this is why you never use instructions. Well, this is why I don't use instructions anyway. I'm going to put a plate on here. Hopefully this works. I'm going to put that nut on. Find my mark. Now we're cooking. No way you were going to hit this bush in.
Say hello, Dave.
Hello. Read these instructions in detail.
And you're done. Perfect. Bit of lube. Did I do this correctly, Dave?
Yeah. More grease the better.
You still start shooting the bush back at you.
It's a myth, mate.
This one should be a lot easier.
Is that coming all the way back
Oh,
out?
popping out.
I told you just lubed it up too much.
Let's try again.
It's too good for a comb.
I'm sweating. Now we're going to get on to putting this subframe back together. We're going to try and get this together because I really want it done today and I'm running out of time. So let's get into it. It's just grease, Dave.
Didn't say anything, mate.
For anyone that hasn't seen this style of bolt before, this is actually a locking nut. So when you put this cage on and the clip in, it stops the bolt from coming loose, and also means you don't have to worry about your upper control arms backing off and slipping out. That could be dangerous. So because you've made it this far in the video, I want to share something with you. It's Friday right now, and we are already past knockoff time. These guys don't have to be here helping me, but they are, and it's moments like this that makes projects like these so memorable. Now, if we weren't working so hard on camera, we'd probably have a few beverages in hand, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. It might not seem like we've done a ton of work in this video, but trust me, there's so much going on behind the scenes that I never anticipated when I first started making these videos. And I want you guys at home to know what's happening here. And I'm really excited to keep making this a regular thing.
Thanks, fellas.
Oh, I've got to tighten one more still.
Good to go.
Sorry.
A few moments later.
Tell me when, Jim.
When?
I'm looking pretty good here.
Yeah, I'm pretty good now.
There we go.
Your face looks crazy in the paintwork, James.
Does it?
Yeah. No. What's not back?
We're only reusing these because we're still waiting on this bush. All right. We're not cutting corners, are we, Jim?
No.
No cutting corners here, mate.
I don't know how it got corners.
Well, we can cut up this video, so it's fine. It's nice. Oh, we're in.
They used to say cutting up the rug was dancing before that.
What was it?
Cutting up the rug.
Cut up a rug.
Cut up a rug. Yeah, I know what that means.
Dancing. I knew you know, but
What are you saying? Because I'm old.
Yeah, I'm whippersnapper there, wouldn't know.
normally you'd have to jack this up to tighten it, but as the race is separate to the bush, you can tighten it all at the full drip, which is very handy. What size? Oh, you got this out already?
Yeah. 12 mil.
Did you get my knee popping there, Dave?
No, no,
For the viewers?
When Jimmy's knee goes, you got to see it. The kneecap comes like right out here. The first time he told me that happened, I thought he was trying to bullshit.
My mum might be watching. My knee's fine, Mum.
That day when I fell off the motorbike, I didn't need to go to the hospital, I swear.
No. It's all great. I'm not paying for it every day now at all.
Alright.
I was doing it by hand, man. Don't you? I know what you're trying to
No, still down. Doing it by hand with the impact gun.
Now it's time to add some bling. Let's open these sway bars up. Oh, stickers. That's the best bit.
Everybody loves stickers.
Everyone loves stickers. That's going straight to the toolbox. Let's put this on and we'll be ready to get this thing rolling again. Oh, you know what I don't have?
This is disappointment in real time.
What I don't have to put these on, I gave the mounting points to Minnie to paint.
Oh no.
There's meant to be mounting points for the front sway bar. We painted them, but they weren't up to scratch after we did everything else. So I thought we'll get them painted again. So the front sway bar is not going to go on in this video. We're going to do the rear. I'm not going to get upset about it either.
Have a look here.
It's not the right sway bar. So we may not have been able to get the sway bars in, and that's a little bit of a shame, but the first one was obviously because we don't have the brackets here, and that was due to me. And the second one is because it's wrong, which I don't know who's at fault there, but that doesn't really matter. We're just gonna get another one. I'm gonna fix it up. But you know what? I'm really proud of what we achieved, Jim. And Dave, I'm really proud.
We started out this video learning how to electroplate, having never attempted it before. From sandblasting parts to restoring others and even fixing a few mistakes made by previous owners, it's been a huge effort. Then came the massive task of assembly, which is made that much harder when you are trying not to scratch anything. Not everything went according to plan, but we are so much closer to getting this car driving than ever before. Just as importantly, I really hope you guys found this video interesting or enjoyable in some way. If so, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Job well done, Jim. Dave.
Good job, Jimmy.
And to everyone watching at home, thanks for watching. And sorry we didn't get these on, but you know what? We'll get them on in the next video. See you next time.